Hey guys, welcome back. So we need to chat, okay? We need to chat about some plants that do not travel well. We've already talked about some pretty hardy plants that do travel really well. Those include Anthurium, most Philodendron, a few other beautiful outliers, but there are definitely some plants that do not travel as well and that are definitely not so hardy. So I want to go over some of those plants with you today. That way you kind of know what you're getting yourself into if you are going to be traveling, or if you find one of these plants out on vacation or something and you're thinking,
oh my God, I want to bring this home with me.
you might want to rethink some of these. But always remember that this is just one person's opinion, so just because I didn't have a good time traveling with these plants doesn't mean that you also won't have a good time traveling with these plants. So take everything I say with a grain of salt here, but let's just get on into it, okay? So let's go ahead and start, I think, with let's start with the worst one. Let's start with the worst one first, okay? All right. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? I'm not talking to you, buddy. Sixo just woke up and looked at me like, what? But, okay. Here she is. This is my plant to show you. So, yeah. This isn't great. This was, well, it still is. She's alive. This is my Labisia species Real, one of my favorite plants. Such a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. It is definitely more of a terrarium type plant. She likes super high humidity and, yeah, as you can see, there's not much going on here. There is a little bit of new growth. I'll get some nice like up close footage for you so that you can see, because I'm not gonna be able to show you right here. But there are two little leaves, right? One for sure, and then some other little thing that I'm not sure what's happening here, but there's at least one cute little baby leaf that is starting to regrow. Quick story time with this plant. I got this originally from Aroid Market. So thankful to them, like forever, for sending me such amazing plants over the couple times that I've ordered through them. But this is a plant that I had asked for and I was so excited to get it, and it was beautiful. It arrived really well. Actually, it initially shipped to me really nicely, and I think that's because it had been all wrapped up. I think all of the leaves were wrapped up individually. I can't fully remember, but it was wrapped up really nicely. It was in a warm box with a bunch of other plants as well that were all like smooshed together really well. So it traveled really nicely for me then. But when we moved, I wasn't able to keep this guy in that nice humid environment that he had been used to for so long, and I just had to kind of put him in a box. I wasn't able to like find a larger cup or anything like that to put over him to keep him covered and safe and humid. So he was just like out free in a box. And when I finally found him, he was completely just sad and crispy like that. Just totally sad and crispy. I'll pop a picture up over here so that you can see it, because I did take a picture of it because I was just like, dang it. So sad about that one. Definitely my worst traveler. Yeah, definitely my worst traveler out of everything else is the Labisia species Real. Definitely not a hardy plant if you are not going to be able to keep him in the humid environment that you've been growing him in. Granted, if this is a plant that like, I don't know, maybe if this is a plant that you had got totally acclimated to like normal household humidity, and like just a drier climate in general, maybe it would have traveled a little bit better. But in my situation, that is not what happened. So this is kind of, I was just left with a stick, essentially just a stick. I had to pull all of the dead crispy leaves off of the stick, and I just put him in a Ziploc baggie. Now I do have this unzipped or opened at this point with the stick poking out. Oh, God, dog hair on my nose. But since I had the two little tiny leaves, I don't know why I'm trying to show you, but since I had the two little tiny leaves start to pop out here, I decided to unzip him and let him just be out in the open a little bit. Now I am keeping this in my Ikea greenhouse cabinet, but in saying that, it's not like it gets that much more humid than the rest of the room here. But I do still have the rest of the pot and everything in here. So you can see there's a little bit of condensation happening in the bag. So it is still nice and humid in here. We do have some really nice little aerial roots growing in here. And I was worried that with opening the bag up that the aerial roots were going to shrivel up and die. But it seems like it's been staying humid enough in here, so these little aerial roots are still growing and doing their thing. So yeah, we're bouncing back. It's not totally dead. It's not a goner, so I'm really happy about that. And I'm interested to see if it'll start growing from any other growth points on here, because it did start to grow at kind of a random spot on here. It is towards the top of the stick, but it's not at the very, very top. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with that. I was too scared to like cut the stem at all. So I just kind of plucked the leaves off, stuck it in a bag, gave it some water and some light, and just like crossed my fingers. And so far it's worked. But yeah, definitely be careful if you're going to be traveling with one of these guys. Labisia species Riau. She's a little tricky, but she's worth it. I'll pop in a picture too of what she looks like so that you can see what she could be, because they're so beautiful. The color. Oh, okay. Anyway, on to the next plant here that did not travel well. It's actually going to be a kind of a group of plants. I did a couple, or at least one group of plants in my last video, or at least my last video talking about plants that do travel well. So I have another group for you here, okay? And that's going to be like Alocasia corm propagations, okay? Not your larger Alocasia. Those will probably be just fine traveling, but if you have some starters, they're not going to be doing as well. Now, these guys have actually bounced back quite nicely. I did fully lose, I want to say 2 or 3 corms, or maybe even more than that. They were just like kaput. They had dried out way too much. I did make sure to water my small propagations like the day of moving, just so that they would be covered. But even still, with that water in there, it just wasn't going to work. So I am happy that these 3 have survived. I've got a little, what is this? What are you? Maharani? I have a little Maharani baby here, another even smaller Maharani baby over here, and then a little black velvet Alocasia. So, you know, we're doing okay. We are losing a leaf here on the black velvet, but they're still alive. They're still kicking. I'm really shocked, honestly. I think for 2 out of the 3 here, they died back completely to the corm. And so, yeah, we had to regrow. So I honestly would be wary about traveling with any like super small baby plants that are in really, really small pots, because they're just going to dry out so much faster. They need more frequently. Do you know what I mean? But especially with Alocasia corms, where they're already just kind of inherently a little bit trickier to deal with, I would be very, very careful and watchful of your corms and stuff as you're traveling. So if you're able to, I would be like popping out and checking on them, making sure they don't need any more water. You're obviously most likely not going to be able to give them any light, but if you can give them a little bit of extra water to survive, you might need to. So yeah. Again, they're not totally dead, so it's all right, but it's not great. We have a Hoya. Most of my Hoya did totally fine, but this guy in particular just really did not do well. So this is our Hoya. I feel like he maybe looks okay on camera, but he doesn't look good in real life. Trust me, okay? Trust me, he does not look good. This guy lost so many leaves. As soon as we got here, pretty much, it was losing leaves. It was losing like full, you can see there's an entire stem right here. This guy is completely dead. It was losing full stems like left and right. So yeah, I actually have quite a few crispy leaves in here. Yeah, there's a lot. Ah! Oh no. Yeah, there's a lot of crispy stuff in here. There's like three more dead stems in here. Yeah, this, and I wish I could tell you the actual name of this Hoya. I am not sure. It's either a Kentiana or something else, but I'm not sure of the exact name of this one. So I do apologize. Let me know what you think it is in the comments. But this one, she struggled the most. Well, actually not the most. Another major struggler, I'm going to pop a picture in or some clips for you here. Another major struggler for the Hoya section was my Hoya australis Lisa. This girl was looking so beautiful and lush before the move. She was living in my grow tent. All of my Hoya, I think, were living in my grow tent. So they were getting optimal light, optimal humidity, and they were just like so, so happy. And this one right here and the Hoya australis Lisa, they really showed me how they felt about the move, and they did not like it. They didn't like it at all. So for my Hoya australis Lisa, that one I would say happened, like the downfall happened even more rapidly than for this little guy. It just started losing so many leaves, so many full strands, and they were getting like mushy and weird while also getting crispy. It was so strange. It was like the plant didn't know what it wanted, and it just wanted to die. It wanted to not be here anymore. And yeah. But I thought we were going to lose the entire plant, and we didn't. So we're doing okay. As you can see by the footage here, hopefully, we're doing much better. We are actually starting to regrow. When I first put it outside, which that's where she's been living, if I didn't mention, I did put her outside on the front porch. She gets a few hours of direct sunlight, if we get any sunlight at all. She gets a little bit of direct sunlight, but it's mostly indirect. Bright indirect light is what I would say she's getting out there, and she's been really digging it. At first, I lost even more leaves putting her outside because it was just another change that she didn't want. But after a couple weeks outside and a few more leaves, a lot more leaves, and a few more strands of leaves falling off and crisping up or just getting nasty and just falling off, we started to see some beautiful sun stressing appear. So I'm going to get some beautiful close-ups so you can see what I'm talking about. On some of my Hoya, the sun stressing comes in like really bright red. On my Hoya australis Lisa, it's been coming in so, so pink. It's beautiful. I guess I shouldn't say coming in. It's turning pink. So with sun stressing for Hoya, if you're not familiar, it's something that is not permanent for the leaves. It doesn't harm the leaves either, in case you're worried, but it won't stay there if you're not giving that plant that same light. If you move your plant that's beautifully sun stressed into a darker corner, then all of those leaves that had sun stressing on them will fade to that normal color that the plant originally was. So it's not permanent, which is honestly kind of a bummer, because how nice would it be to get like, I don't know, a Hoya sunrise, like beautifully sun stressed, and then just like put it in a dark corner and be able to appreciate that gorgeous color. Like, no, it's not going to happen. It will fade. They're still beautiful when they're not sun stressed for every single Hoya, at least I think, but it will fade on you. So just keep that in mind. But as you can see here, we are starting to grow back. We're starting to sun stress, and I think it's actually looking really, really good. So I'm really excited to see what this plant does for me in the future. And I don't know, hopefully the next time I move, it'll be okay. We won't have to do this all over again, but if we will, or if we do, whenever this happens, I don't know when I'm moving next, but I'm just planning for my future here. Hopefully it won't be as bad. So we'll see. But yeah, Hoya australis Lisa and Hoya, whatever this guy is, not the best travelers, not the most hardy Hoya. Hardy Hoya. Maybe I'll have to do a little video on hardy Hoya, because there are some that I've noticed that are extra tough. So let me know if you're interested in that at all, because that would just be fun. I love an alliteration. Our next plant that I want to talk to you guys about is going to be a philodendron, which I know is shocking because philodendron are such tough cookies. They do so, so well. This beauty behind me, this is my philodendron ploumanii. She did fantastic, although we are having to regrow, but that's a whole different story. So if you're interested in this at all, I did do a reel on this guy, or a shorts, is that what it's called on here? I did a YouTube short on this guy. We had to do a sneak attack on her to get her to bounce back to this. But another one of her philodendron comrades did not do as well. So I'll show you here. Here she is. I'll have to scoot over a little bit. There we go. So this is my philodendron burl marks. Now, this one didn't do terribly in the way that it lost a bunch of leaves, nothing like that. This is more of a cautionary tale for you guys, okay? Because for a lot of my plants, when I moved, a lot of them were pretty big, which is fantastic. We love a big bushy plant, but I was trying to conserve space while moving. I was trying to conserve the amount of boxes that I was using and all that jazz. So I had to squish down a lot of my plants. For most of them, that was fine. I didn't have to squish down many, but most of them that I did have to squish down were philodendron. And the burl marks here for some reason, just really has taken forever to bounce back from that. You can tell when I push it over to the side here. She's fully, not as fully. It was more off to the side like this and pushed down to fit into a box, but we are still slanted so far over. You can't really tell from this angle, which is lovely. But if you go like this, oh, it's so sad. So again, it's just kind of a cautionary tale on this one to be wary of pushing down your plants too much, because this could definitely happen. Again, it's not like hurting the plant or anything. At least I don't think so. It doesn't really look like it. I guess there are a couple of leaves that were bent, or a couple of petioles rather, that have been bent so hard that I think the leaf, yeah, is just going to be dying. I'll get a close up on this one so you know what I'm talking about here. The petiole here has been so bent that this leaf is slowly but surely dying off. It's like losing its food supply essentially. But yeah, it's just kind of a bummer because it's not a plant that you can just have bounce back and look gorgeous sitting wherever you want it to sit. I guess if you wanted it to be like on a shelf that's kind of shorter and you needed it to be squished out, it would look it would look fine, but it just makes it look extra awkward. And honestly, it has been almost 3 months. Is that right? I think so. I think it's been almost 3 months since the move, and it's still like this. So yeah, I think my next plan of action for this guy is gonna have to just be to put some stakes. Oh God, got poked in the eye. But I'm gonna try to put some stakes in the back of this here, and then just try to secure all of the leaves back up just so that they're pointing back up to the sky and like not leaning over so terribly, and hopefully that will fix our problem here. But I just wanted to show this to you guys because it's not like anything terrible, but it is something just to kind of keep in mind. If you don't have to squish your plants down too much, try not to, because you're just gonna have a better time once you get to your final destination with having beautiful plants. So yeah, Burl Marks Philodendron. She's kind of a wonky one. All right, you guys, I think that is going to do it for this video. There were not very many plants that did terrible with moving, with traveling. They all seem to be pretty darn hardy, which is a great thing. So don't be scared if you are on vacation, you're out somewhere and you have like a ways to go to get home and you see that dream plant of yours. Don't be too scared to just grab it and take it home with you. I mean, pay for it. Make sure that you can take it on the plane and then take it home with you. Go through all the steps, but don't be afraid because it's like gonna tank or something like that. Most likely the plant is gonna be just fine. Plants wanna live, you know? They're just like us and our pets. They wanna live, they wanna thrive. And as long as you give them like a little something, they're gonna be just fine. So don't be scared, and yeah, just have fun with your plants. Don't stress about them too much. I feel like I try and say that as much as possible because it's something that I really try to remember, especially if I see like one of my favorite plants' leaves starting to yellow or something. It's like, okay, we could totally panic and freak out right now, or we could remember that it's a plant. It's gonna keep growing. Even if I have to chop it back to a nub, it's gonna keep growing. Or if you want another one, there's more out there. You can get another one. So don't stress too much. Enjoy your plants, enjoy yourself. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, and I will see you in the next video. Oh my God, you guys, I almost forgot about a plant. It's sitting right behind me. That's why I almost forgot about it. So stop losing turtles. It's my string of turtles. This sucker did not travel well. As you saw in my, I think this was my last video that I put out for you guys, doing some plant chores, and we cut this guy up because he was so sad. So he's now nice and short, as you can see here. He still has a little bit of length on him, but he's definitely way shorter than he was. He was like, if the pot's right here, he was like way down here. He used to be so beautiful and luscious, and yeah, I didn't repot him. I didn't do anything like that because I know that like with a lot of string of plants, a repot can sometimes be a death wish, but I didn't even do that. We just moved. We just moved. That's all we did, buddy. and he was so mad. It was like every single time you even looked at him, there were turtles falling off, just left and right. Turtles just jumping for their deaths. It was crazy. So yeah, even still, if I shake it, I just gave it the tiniest little shake and I lost some turtles. So yeah. Yeah. String of turtles was definitely a tricky one. So if you're traveling with the string of turtles or anything like that, I think my biggest recommendation, honestly, I don't even know, just like don't. No, I'm kidding. My recommendation would probably just to be to, I don't like wrapping it all up onto itself because I feel like that caused me a lot of issues. I would try to gently wrap everything around the base of the pot and make sure that the pot isn't like set on any of the turtles, and just kind of like go around like that. Does that make sense? Rather than lifting up and putting everything on top and circling around. That's what I did, and I feel like that really caused me a lot of issues with this guy. I found that doing that caused extra tangling and therefore extra loss of turtles. It wasn't a good thing. So that's what I would recommend, is just being very, very careful and just gently, ever so gently, wrapping it around. Not let this guy jiggle as much as possible. I wouldn't put anything on top of it. Just be very, very careful with this one. So yeah, string of turtles. She's a tricky little brat, but oh my gosh, she's so cute. Like, look at how cute that is. Like, you can't even deny. It's adorable. But she's tricky, and she still looks kind of ugly at the base of the top. At the base of the top? At the base of the pot. That's what we're trying to say. Wow, I need some coffee and some food. But yeah, it's slowly but surely growing back. We do have a little bit of like new growth kind of all over. There's little tiny baby turtles starting to grow. None of the plants have like fully died, with the exception of little Alocasia corms. So that's really good. I would say that's pretty successful. Ooh. Pretty successful overall, but yeah. Okay, that is officially gonna do it, you guys. I will see you later.